Extra.
Have back issues and you're trying to work your core, or if you just had kids and it's hard for you, or a child, I'm sorry, and it's hard for you to do abs because the doctor recommended you not to work your core at the moment. You can do things to work your transverse abdominal, which is how and where the kid is carrying. So number one would be here. Hold your dumbbell, which automatically locks in your core. Hold it really high and just go 1, 2, 3, 4, just like that. It seems really simple, and it seems like you're not doing anything, but you are. It's more of your mind-muscle connection. So if you want a low-intensity ab workout, this is one. Here's two. Same concept. Keep the dumbbell right across your chest, and every time you turn, you contract your core. What this does is that pull and that transverse that you need, it keeps that tight. But you have to do the contraction. You have to do the mind-muscle connection for that muscle to be worked. Just because something is in your hand doesn't mean that you have to move it. As you notice, I only move my torso, which is this right here. I'm not trying to move the dumbbell with my hands. So here's number 3. Just turn and squeeze. There you go. So if you got problems with your core and you can't lie on the floor, here's a great workout for you. Get to it. A lot of people have a lot of questions about squats, right? So hold tight for me out. The number one thing about a squat is the rotation of your feet and the bend of your knees and your ankles. Most people when they squat, their ankles don't move, which hinders the squat, which makes them do this. You can hit your glutes like that, but if you want to make it a compound movement, you have to bend your knees and your ankles. And the rotation of your feet is very important. So Alex is going to do a few squats for me. She's going to do like 1 or 2, and she's going to hold at the bottom. 1, come on, now, go back down and hold. As you watch, her ankle and her knees move forward. Your knees go through your shoestring, but not over your toes. So if you can get your knees over your shoestring, which is fine, but not over your toes. Come back up for me, Alex. So as her knees go down and bend and her ankles bend, it's going to go over a shoestring, but not her toes. Sit down into it. Boom, stop right there. All right? See, now let your knees come forward. That's not, we don't want that. But especially if you have bad knees, lower back issues, and stuff like that. Also, too, the straightening of your back. So do a couple squats for me. Go ahead, squat for me. 1, squat again, stay. All right, when someone says your back needs to be straight, this is what they mean. So even if you tilt forward some more, this is still straight. Not this, not that. I don't know what the heck that is, but don't do that. All right, come back up. That's the most important thing to a squat. Another important thing, your core must be extremely tight once you squat. You hold your breath going to the bottom, and you breathe at the top. Because what's gonna happen is if you squat for me, Alex. If you squat and breathe at the bottom. She slumps over. But if she squat and keep her abs tight, I go. She stays tight. So one thing you don't want to do is breathe at the bottom. Because then your whole body just caves in and then you start to use your lower back. So if you add weight, say if you put the load in the front and you squat, right? But if I breathe, that load comes forward and I start to use more of my lower back. And that's something that you do not want to do. So number one, make sure your feet is in good position. Number 2, make sure your knees go where your toes go, and make sure your ankles bend as well. Knees over the shoestring, but not over the toes. Abs tight, come back up. Do not lock out. You want to keep tension. Boom. You don't want to lock all the way back. And that's the key to a perfect squat.